Hi guys, welcome back to Minecraft here with Makion. I wanted to show you guys one of my redstone builds that I build and use in my survival series, single player, and on multiplayer maps. Now this is something that I've played around with and created this idea that I can have a dual purpose furnace array. It's not one of the large super smelters that some of the hermits on Hermitcraft or other YouTubers have made, but it is something that I use and I find quite useful for my own self. So what I have here is this is the depository where you put what you want smelted in here, and it goes up a bubble elevator picked up by the cart. Currently there is nothing in the cart, and then it goes along into these furnaces once it's done smelting, obviously in here. Now that part's pretty simple. What I've done though is added a second furnace array on the back side. Now I have my switch here, one furnace array, two furnace arrays, and what that's going to do is actually just switch this track from one direction to the other. This is also a clock here, or counter actually, that detects how many times the cart drives across this and will then allow the cart to go back and forth a couple times. That way you can deposit a couple extra items in the system so it smelts a little, I don't know if fast or the right word, but is balanced out a little more evenly. So I'm just going to do a demonstration of what I have here. I'm just going to throw a couple stacks in here. Say you have a stack of iron or something that you want smelted. So you chuck it in and away you go. Now it's not going to go in the way the redstone works with the cart on here. It's not going to allow it to go, but we just hit start and it's got one stack in there. Cart's going to go back and forth a couple times and it's done. So it's not quite empty, but I actually have it set up for a large furnace array. So there's a couple items in there. Might have to hit it again. Now this is something that I'm going to have to change up a little bit, is the counter system, but that's fine. What do we got now? So we got one more pass and it should be emptied. Now for small amount of items this is totally fine, but what if you want to smelt a large amount of items? So we're going to smelt all these up, and I'll show you here in just a sec. Alright, these items are done smelting. They've got funneled back into the chest there. Now what if you want to smelt like an inventory or a shulker box? I have built these kelp farms like Cubfan has done, which I'll actually put a link to in the description below, of a kelp farm, and his is extremely efficient. I really like how it works. But what if you want to smelt all this up so you can make kelp blocks? So we will dump all these out in here, and you guys are going to see how easy this is to smelt all these up. So we need to change this to the two furnace array. So now the carts are going to run around both sides. Hit start and away it goes. Now I didn't catch it. I should have probably had a couple stacks worth of kelp in there already. Yeah, looks like it grabbed about 3. So this hopper is going to be full of kelp, and you see there's a bunch more waiting to be picked up. So as quickly as this can deposit the kelp in here is going to be refilling that hopper, which actually acts as a temporary storage, so these items hopefully don't despawn in the amount of time. You can obviously make this bigger if you want. Doesn't really take a whole lot more effort, just lengthen it. The only difference being is the timing again, which is back here, which I can show you guys how to adjust that here in a bit. So this is going to go and go and go and go just like your normal furnaces. It's filling them up. So how do we build this? This is actually really simple. You want my save toolbars up here. So again, I'm sure most of you guys know these have to be facing in a certain direction. So we are facing, if I bring this up, we're facing west. So it has to be east or west in this direction for the powered rails to work. Otherwise, they want to go at an angle. I'm sure once you try it, you'll figure it out, and you have to really pay attention. If you're like me, you'll build it wrong, have to redo it. Anyhow, I don't know why I picked 12, but I made these 12 across. Don't actually need these. So we're going to build it this direction here. Where's my center? I'm going to have my center here. Now it's going to be a chest. So one. So we're going to have the chest there. Now we need our furnaces on top. There's 12 there. And then hoppers on either side. Now these come out here. Alright, so these are a 3x3 angle here with a full block on here, and this is just repeated, flip the other way here. Now we're going to put, actually we need one, yeah. Alright, I actually have this 4 long, not 3 like I said, just to give it that space so the detector rail doesn't trigger a hopper, because it can power a hopper, and you don't want that. Now we just need, this part was actually fairly easy how I built it, like so, and the powered rails just like this. Alright, so this is the basis for the furnace array. So these are all powered, these are all powered, everything's powered right here. Alright, now what we need to do is put a detector rail here and then just another rail to make that go up and then break it. And then on top of this, you see the box that's outlined, we'll just place a hopper. Now when the minecart comes up here, it can't go any further, so that can actually be destroyed. The minecart will hit that and stop. So when this hits a certain point, it's going to trigger this block, and right here, which has a torch on it, and place a piston. So that's going to go just like so. Oh, need to run and grab a fence. Boom, just like so. So when the signal is going to get strong enough on here, is going to send it through here and turn this off, retracting that, allowing the cart to go through. This comparator system here, so we move this to subtract mode. Now when you put a set amount of items in here, it's going to put out a signal to a certain strength. Let's just do half a stack of furnaces. So the signal strength has to be stronger than what this puts out, which is probably going to be about 3, I'm guessing. So if the signal strength of this detector rail is stronger than whatever this signal strength is putting out, it will then unpower this. So it can have, like, say 10 items in the hopper minecart, but it's not going to make this move. Put a hopper minecart, we'll just drop him down right here. So he's going to go along and stop. Now there's nothing for him to pick up. The items aren't going to be detected. So it's just locked like so. Now let's say there's half a stack of items in here. Doesn't move because we want a full stack. So this is something that you're going to have to play around with to determine how many items you want to smelt each time. So if you want it to start smelting at one stack of items, let's have that. So that's going to get dispersed, and you're going to see a block of redstone go in there each time. Now, that just did 24 items. So let's have this again. So we want it, that's all it did 2 items, so it's got 16 left. So let's see what happens. You drop 16 in, nothing happens. We're going to do half a stack of items. So at this current number, we're going to get half a stack of items go through, and it's just going to go one time. Now we don't actually have the counter system set up to turn this off, which we can actually do to make sure that it smelts all the items. We're just determining how many items it will activate at. So if we actually go and play around a little bit, let's drop a furnace and a comparator and a piece of redstone. Bring up your F3 screen, and let's put these 8 items in here, and we get a signal strength of 1. Power is 1. So if we put 8 more in, what do we get? Power is 2. So you can play around with this. 12. 13 is still 1 power. So 14 items makes 2 power. Now obviously you can put whatever you want. Pieces of redstone, you know, they're easy to come by. Stone, cobble, doesn't matter what you put in here. Is still going to detect whatever is in here. So we have a signal strength of 2 with 14 items. Now let's try this here. We put the 14 items in here. So that's going to have a signal strength of 2. 32 items doesn't do it, and we can count. So 48 items with a signal strength of 2 will then go. So actually that will count very easily. Let's just make this go again. Because 48 into 12 furnaces will be 2 times. Now this should be empty. Yes. So then all we have to do is, for the counter system here, I'm actually going to move that back. Now, the counter system will be pretty easy to make. We don't need your F3 screen right now. We need a repeater here now and the hopper. So we put a dispenser here and a hopper facing into it. Comparator, repeater, and we just need a bit of redstone here. Now earlier when I said the shovel, it's a non-stacking item, so it doesn't matter. We could do fishing rods if we want. We just need to put a couple items in there. This is all it really takes for this clock to work. Now, every time this goes across, it's going to send a signal here, spitting one of these in here, and because this is locking it, it's not going to allow it to release the items back into here. Once it does, move all these to the max setting. Once these are all out, it's not going to have a signal, it's going to decay, and it's going to spit them back in, and then it's going to trigger. It's pretty simple, because we need to run a redstone line through here. Now obviously, if you have a redstone line here, that's going to get powered, but if you put a repeater there, it'll be fine. But it's actually not an issue because we need to delay this line signal quite a bit actually. So we need a couple more delays. I'm going to build this up and over. Don't need these. Like so. And like so. We need a repeater here, and we can make that a delay. And we'll do one more fully delayed. So I have 3 fully delayed repeaters. I think 3 is what you need. So this is powered over here. So what did it take? 48, and it should go 2 times. Split that in half, and there. Alright. Now the hopper minecart should go 2 times. Alright, slight fix. I actually made this into a dropper, and I have 4 fishing rods in here now. That fixed it just perfectly. So here I'll play this again. We'll split this 48 items. So now this will go by 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you see that this shuts off and flips that just in the nick of time. And then now this is completely empty and has deposited all of its items into the furnaces. Now, we want to add a second bank. Do we? Or do we want to do, let's see, let's do the fuel source next. So, we're going to do that. There and there. I'm going to place that there. Let's see, we need a chest and then that and a button. So now we need a fuel source. Let's go and kelp block. What did I do? That's easily fixed. Alright, I want this and that, and then that, like so, and place that there. Alright, now this should open up. Okay. So I'm going to take these and just fill this entire chest with items, and this will fill up. We send it off. It's going to drop an item in each of these. So by the time it's done, it's got 2. You can see even the end has 2 items, so you know it's distributing evenly. Okay, so that's the fuel supply. Now, I have played some survival series with just this amount. This is the biggest super smelter, quote unquote, I've got. It's pretty automated. You put your items into the dispenser, or even just reach up in here and throw them in here, or in here if you want, and you can get quite a ways. But what if you want a second set of furnaces? What did we do here? We're actually going to have to change this. Because we needed comparator, and that's going to have to change. That's fine. We'll put that there, and that there. That's fine. Put this here, and if we have a repeater coming out, that is now powered. Let's do this. Boom. I see what I need to do. So, as you can see, when this is directly powered, it's going to loop this back around, but we don't want that. We actually want this to be unpowered. So it's actually not that hard to do. Let's just change this a bit. We'll put this block here. No, what do we want? We'll put a torch here, and then a redstone there, and there we go. Just flip the polarity, I guess you'd call that, completely 180, and now it's just fine. So once this gets low enough, once it's done smelting, these items won't be here. So you'll need enough of your fuel source to get the signal strength of 2, at least, to keep that there. But now we need to keep this powered, so we'll just throw a block there for now, so these will always be powered. So that is our fuel source taken care of. Now the only thing that's left is this flip, or this switch right here. So I'm going to do this simple instead of running the whole redstone line. This really is quite simple. We need a switch, which when that's powered will trigger that. And that should, no. Yeah, that is working fine there. Alright, so the switch powers the block, which will trigger the redstone, which will trigger this block, the torch, flipping polarity. That part doesn't really matter a whole lot, depending on what you want. Alright, now for the last part, the water elevator. This is pretty simple. Let's see here. We'll go, I got this here. We need to be in line with this. We'll just place it here. Let's use the blue wool again. So it needs to be how high? It needs to be this high. What do I have? Yeah. So we go here and place that there. So there's our door. So we can flip up. Now I'm going to use white just cause for this part. So basically we are done. Let's empty the redstone out of here. So it's functional. We did our testing, and this side shouldn't have any. Right. So we're going to flip that to go the full amount. There's no kelp in there, nothing in here. Where's kelp blocks? I don't want kelp blocks, I want kelp. We gotta smelt something. Alright, fill up my inventory. So we're going to smelt up a whole bunch of stuff. I don't think it's all getting thrown in there. I'm too close. So, oh, I needed a button. I think all my kelp despawned. So this is one of those things where I built that different from that because I built this about 2 longer right here over there, giving me more space to work right around in here. But see, you're still able to actually make it work. So let's do this again. We'll get the kelp, fill our inventory, open this up, and Control Q until this is all chucked out and empty. Okay, now again, see, now you see it all down here. We hit the start button. Boom, it got 4 stacks already, so you see how quick it can go in there. That's the really neat thing about the hopper minecarts. They can suck items up extremely fast. There's items still floating up in here, but that's totally fine. Now, furnaces are going, smelting away, and you see it's smelting quite fast. So this is my little super smelter. Nothing super fancy. Well, I guess by some standards, it's better than just, you know, a handful of furnaces stacked up in a row and everything being manual. So what we're going to watch here, now what you can gauge is how, see, it doesn't suck up a whole lot, but it triggered because it had a full stack plus 11 plus 11. So it triggered it right away. What you have to get to is the point where it's not sucking any more items. Or, I'm sorry, you have to get to the point where it's emptied enough items, like now. So I got 51 items. We need 48 for the furnace to work. So the amount I have in there is enough to have this go. Oh no, it's empty, so I need twice as many items for the full 4 passes all the way around. But now this time, it's got enough to do just these. So what I want to do is take this and double it and see what kind of output we get here. So we had 14, that'll be 28 is twice as many. So we put that there. And on our F3 screen, we have a power of 3. So let's see what 14 more will do. Now, how many kelp is it going to take to trigger this? What do we have here? We'll empty this out and get some kelp. We'll get a stack of kelp. The reason I'm doing this is because we want to double how many of our furnace items are. Let's just trigger that just to make sure. Now before we had 48, so will 1 stack go? Will 1.5 stacks go? So how empty is this going to be once it's done? And that did at least all of them. Let's try this again. We will put, so that'll take just over 1 stack. I think what we want to do is increase it. See, 48 times 2 would be 90, 96. Which is actually what this is. So let's increase this by a little bit more. Power is still 3. Still 3. How many does it take to get the next power? About 42. Increase this. Alright. So now will 1.5 stacks trigger? It will. So we're probably a lot closer. We're actually going to put 2 stacks in here. And we need to see, I think that said 24, so it should be, it gets just about emptied. So you also want to check how many this will pick up before it gets sent out. So it almost got 2 stacks, about 1 3/4 stacks. Alright, so it didn't quite empty it, which is kind of what you want. You want it to almost be empty. So this is better here. A signal strength of 4 for this many hoppers works pretty good. So that's something that you just got to play around with a little bit, how much power this puts out to how evenly distributed all your items get. I will try and answer any questions if you guys have any. Thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it. So yeah, this has been another one of my Redstone tutorials. Don't have that many, but thanks for watching, guys, really do appreciate it. Makion out.